It's the Mustang Insider Show presented by Cal Portland, the largest building materials company of cement and construction material products on the West Coast. Now, here's Chris Sylvester, the voice of the Mustangs.
And we say Happy New Year. Welcome into 2022, the Mustang Insider, as always presented by Cal Portland. As we continue on with our winter sports, can't believe it, but we're starting to talk about some spring sports. In fact, Cal Poly women's tennis starts their season this Friday on the road in Berkeley, starting with the tournament opening up this 2022 campaign. Kat Winterhalter, hard to believe it, but in year 7 as the head coach, fresh off one of the more successful campaigns in Division I history a season ago. Coach, Happy New Year. Thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us. Can you believe the long off season is almost over and it's almost go time for you guys?
Happy New Year, Chris. Thanks so much for having me on again. I'm excited to be here. And no, I mean, it's the fall. Whenever we start the year, the fall seems to be long and then it goes by so quickly. And before we know it, the spring season's here. But we're all excited. It's the most exciting part of the year for us. We love going into spring season. So we can't wait for Friday.
I know that since you got here about 7 years ago, your goal has always been long-term building, getting better and better. And we saw much of that last season, 14-3 overall. You guys finished as runners-up in the Big West Conference tournament. I know being that close to a championship that you weren't satisfied with the end result, but after your 2020 season was cut extremely short, you guys had gotten off to a really good start then. To be able to have the success you did last season with such a young group for the most part has to make you excited going into not only this season, but maybe the next couple after this. It really feels like you as a coaching staff have built a Big West contender, not only now, but for years to come.
Definitely. I mean, 2020 was a tough one to get cut short on. And then last season was really exciting for us. Another year, a new season, you never know what's going to happen, but we're certainly excited. We have, I would say, the core of our program, the core of the culture that we've built, I think we're really happy with, and we have that core back again this year. They were very young last year. I think they've got tremendous experience at this point. And we hope for them to keep building on that, but also pass that on to the newcomers, freshmen and a grad transfer. And so you just never know. Every year's a different team. We're excited. We keep working hard. We keep adding to our games. We keep trying to improve a little bit every day. I think that's the thing that we focused on over the last 6 years, and it's worked out well for us. So we're definitely not going to change any of that. We're excited because we have a tough schedule. It's definitely the toughest schedule in my time here, and I would probably say in the last decade or so. And so I think the team's ready. They're excited to measure up against some of the best in the country. So we're starting out with some tough matches on the road, but we can't wait to see how it's going to go.
Kat Winterhalter, head women's tennis coach, is our guest on the Mustang Insider, presented by Cal Portland. Again, season starts this Friday as the Mustangs will open it up in Berkeley at the University of California, Berkeley. 14-3, as we mentioned last season. You finished 62nd in the nation by the Intercollegiate Tennis Association. I know you'd like to see that figure be even higher at the finish line of this season. And I know the aspiration is most definitely winning a regular season title and being able to carry that over into a conference tournament title. You open with a tournament this weekend. How important are some of these early non-conference tournaments to kind of get you ready for the moment come Big West tournament time?
I think this preseason event at Cal, we like it a lot because it's not a dual match, but it's a tournament. And so we really get some quality matches under our belt to go into the dual match season. This year we're starting out we're going to Oregon to play Oregon and Gonzaga. And then after that, we're going to UCLA, where we play the ITA kickoff weekend, which we qualified for by our ranking. And so that the first month this year is really, we're going to see some really strong competition. And I think that's the great part. That's what we're looking forward to. The last couple of years, I think the strongest competition, especially last year, was our conference matches, and especially Santa Barbara. And so it just gives us a chance to see what do we need to work on so that we can keep improving, so that we can peak in April. The bulk of our conference matches are end of March and April, and obviously the conference championships are then, and that's really when we want to peak. So while these matches are extremely important, it's just for me, we look at it as, okay, how do we measure up? Where are our weaknesses? What are we doing well? And let's keep building on those things.
Kat Winterhalter, our guest here on the Mustang Insider. It's the Berkeley Invitational, the Cal tournament this weekend. And then, as you mentioned, going down to UCLA, you've got Oregon on the schedule. You've got Gonzaga, San Diego State. So some really high level programs that should make you better prepared when the Big West Conference starts late in February. You get Davis when conference play begins on February 20th. Mentioning that you guys bring back so much talent from a 14-3 campaign a season ago. Emily Ackerman, Kim Bunu, Delaney Dunkel, Melissa Lamette, Shreya Ravia, 5 all-conference selections that you bring back from last season. What was the biggest point of emphasis for these ladies this offseason, being so close to achieving that goal last year and really kind of coming into this season, I'd imagine, with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, knowing that they've got to handle some unfinished business?
I think for them it was exciting to get that far, but also at the same time it definitely hurt. It hurt to lose that championship match, and so they went into the summer and they kept working on their games. A couple of them made some major technical changes, and so it's nice to see, and that's what we focus on as coaches. We keep looking at their games and seeing, okay, what else can we add? Where can we get a little bit better? Where, what can we do? What can we add in the skill set? And where can we be tougher so that we're better prepared for that strong competition? And so that's really the point of emphasis, and to keep improving. We're definitely excited and we're happy with where we are, but we're not satisfied. And so, a little step every day.
Coach, tell me about some of the newcomers that you guys have on this season's team that Cal Poly fans should get familiar with here real quickly before you get going. Eliza Bates comes in. She was a 3-time league champion from Lafayette, California, up north. You bring in Misha Berry, who comes all the way from the Lone Star State, Texas. I know recruiting Texas is a big emphasis for your program. Peyton Dunkel, Delaney connection there. She comes from nearby Arroyo Grande. And then you mentioned the transfer, Laura Benti. She comes from Germany originally by way of the University of Memphis. She was an American all-conference selection back in 2019. So you bring back the nucleus that made you guys so good last year, but it sounds like you're bringing in some highly decorated either players coming in from the high school level or the transfer from Memphis that you expect to be a big contributor here in 2022.
Yes, absolutely. Laura Benti, I think, was a great addition. She brings with her a wealth of experience, having played 4 years college tennis, and she's played at a high level. And so we really look to her, or we hope that she'll make an impact right away in the singles lineup and the doubles lineup. And then, as you mentioned, we've got some really talented kids coming out of high school. It's going to be getting experience. Every coach knows this. Junior tennis is different. We try to tell them to leave that behind as much as possible as they go into college. And but they're definitely they're a great group. They're hardworking, and so getting them into the Mustang way, into our program, into the culture that we've built, and just getting them the experience on the court will be really important so that they can shine when it's their time.
19 duels to schedule. The Big West Conference tournament will be in late April. So you've got some time to build on whatever it is you guys worked on in the off season. Where would you say this team is at right now? And where would you like them to be when the conference schedule starts against UC Davis in late February?
Oh, where we are now. I think we're striking the ball really well. It's going to be about how do we compete. And that's we'll get to see a little bit of that this weekend, to see how match tough we are at this point in the season. And so that's going to be a point of emphasis this weekend and going forward. And I think going in the conference schedule, we try really hard not to make any matches different, whether it's a conference match or this match or that match. We go out and we expect a tough match no matter who it is, and we play our hardest and we do all the things that we can control. And then we see what happens. The big emphasis is what can we control, what can we not control, and we don't worry about those things. So in a way, we don't really build up the conference matches much more than any other match. We just keep working, trying to get a little bit better every day, being really competitive, being really match tough. That's going to be a big emphasis.
Coach, would you say in your 7 seasons that this is the most optimistic and these are the highest expectations that you guys have probably had coming into a season?
Yes, but I also keep reminding myself, whenever you have expectations, that's a dangerous path to go on. And so it's the same thing for us as a coaching staff. You know, when we go in the office and when we talk about, okay, where are we? What do we need to do? We look at our practice plan that we've laid out. It's really just the things that we can control. And so I think we keep the excitement. We're very positive, I think, overall as a coaching staff. And so it's a lot of fun to work with them. It has been for the last few years now, just because of the people that we've recruited, and just the culture that we've built, the characters that we have. It's just fun to go out there and work hard. So I think the expectations, we will put them in the drawer, and we go out and we do our best.
Well, Coach, we're certainly looking forward to another successful season for your program. Again, Cal Poly women's tennis kicks it off this Friday, January 14th, with 3 matches in the Cal Winter Invite, then into a gauntlet of a non-conference schedule. As you mentioned, a really tough slate: Oregon, Gonzaga, UCLA, Sac State, the first home match on February 5th. Then the Big West gets going on the road at UC San Diego, a newer program to the conference. The home conference opener is Sunday, February 20th at 11 a.m. If you're local, come on out, watch some high quality college women's tennis with this Cal Poly program. They are putting themselves on the map. Coach, thank you so much for your time here today. Best of luck this weekend up in Berkeley, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon here on the Mustang Insider.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
All right, so that puts the finishing touches on our first Mustang Insider episode of 2022. You'll want to stay with us all year long to follow Cal Poly athletics content, talking to coaches, student athletes, alumni, and more. We'd like to, as always, remind you that this podcast made possible by AM Sun Solar. If you're worried about rising PG&E rates, go solar, pay less on your monthly bills. Seamless installs to custom financing solutions. The experts at AM Sun Solar do it all. Just visit amsunsolar.com. AM Sun Solar, your local solar experts. Dignity Health, also a proud partner of our Cal Poly Mustang Insider podcast, offering all-star treatment that you can trust. Learn more about healthcare services. Visit dignityhealth.org/Central Coast. Up next, we'll take a look at the men's tennis season. Nick Carlos, the head coach, coming off a very successful campaign in 2021. Next week, they'll open their season, and next week, we'll sit down with him on the Mustang Insider. Until then, ride high, go Mustangs, and we'll see you next time on the Mustang Insider, presented by Cal Portland from Learfield.
This has been the Mustang Insider Show, presented by Cal Portland, with a commitment to environmental leadership that has made the organization stronger and is the primary choice of contractors. The Mustang Insider Show. The preceding has been a Learfield's presentation on the Cal Poly Sports Network.